I think it's no secret that everyone's biggest complaint about the mortgage process is all of the paperwork, or at least one of the complaints. And I know that we don't like asking you for it, but there is a method behind the madness, and there's a reason why we have to ask you for so much paperwork because of the market crash, because of the money laundering and the fraud and identity theft. There have been a lot of laws and guidelines set in motion to help protect you, actually, even though it's an inconvenience. So just make sure that when we do ask you for the paperwork, you just remember that the guidelines are there to protect you and they're trying to benefit you. So when you get annoyed, you can just remember that. There is something that we do ask you, and I wanted to show you because I think it's kind of tricky and confusing. So hopefully this can help you. This is called a letter of explanation, and there's four main parts to it. The first part is it lists any derogatory credit. So kind of looks like this, and it says, why were you late? And you just write why you were late. Maybe you were on vacation. Maybe there was something missed with your auto pay set up. Maybe you thought you put money in the bank and your husband thought he put money in the bank and nobody put money in the bank. So we have that. And then sometimes it's just an error, and this just says there were no lates here. And the next part is the inquiries, and it wants to know what were these inquiries and was there any new debt. And you can just say no new debt, shopping for a mortgage, or if you did purchase a credit card or open a credit card, then you do write that there is debt. So hopefully you didn't do that while you were shopping for a mortgage. So then the next part is your addresses, previous addresses. And sometimes they're errors, sometimes they're previous addresses, sometimes they're family addresses. So just if you lived there, you just say, this was my address between such and such a time, and make sure you include the dates. And if this was an error, you just write error. Or if it's a family member, you just write, this is a family member's address. And the last part is it lists your names in different ways. It might skip the middle initial. It might have your maiden name. It might have your nickname. And so you just write down what it is. This is my maiden name. I think this was actually just the name without the last name. So it's kind of silly, but it's important, and hopefully that helps you get through that piece of paperwork.